Story time. I have a really interesting story to tell you guys today. I have so many interesting stories from my life, but this happened recently, so it's gonna be interesting. This week, I've been going through my usual training routine and everything, and I was due to do a race in a place called Foligno, right, on Wednesday. Now, I was supposed to do this race just like a training session. I'd already discussed with my trainer, with my coach, and everything. So it was just supposed to be training session and whatnot. No big deal. So this week I've had to pay for so many important things. So I'm paying money for this, paying money for that, paying money for this, paying money for that. So on was it Monday or Tuesday? I literally no Monday I think. Monday, I had literally had 23 euros on me, literally. But it was no problem because I was expecting to get a ride with a guy who was like, oh, we'll go together, no problem. We'll go on Wednesday and I'll go and come with him. The guy then cancels. Okay, and then first of all, I had to then pay for the race on Monday. So that was like, I paid like five. So then I had like 18 on me. Still no problem. Fine, because I'm thinking I'm gonna get a ride to go and to come. Then the guy I'm supposed to go with, he cancels just the day before the race. I wasn't even perturbed by it. I was just like, okay, God, so how are we gonna work this one? If you want me to go, I believe you want me to go, so how are we gonna work it? And I just felt the peace of God. I can. This is a thing. This is a true thing. When you are in the Lord, no matter what is going on around you, you're just calm. You don't feel anything, man. Once you know what God has planned to do, what He's going to do, you don't feel anything. You're just cool. And so I was just like calm. I was like, all right, fine. So in the night of Tuesday, and I'm supposed to take off on Wednesday, I was like, okay, fine, God, I think this is what you have me do. A train ticket to go would be about nine to go and nine to come, which is exactly what I have on me, right? But then I won't be able to like buy anything else, not even like water or anything, just for that particular day. But I was like, you know what's cool? So I just get a train ticket to go, right? I don't get one to come back. I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I'll go there and I'll find somebody who's coming back my way, and then I'll just get a ride back, whatever it is. I'm not even stressed, man. I'm just cool, man. So I go on Wednesday. Everything goes cool. I do my race. Thank God it all goes well. Then I'm looking for anyone who's coming back. People are like, well, there are people going to where I live, to my city, but they're like, well, we think maybe our car is full or this, that, that. And I'm sitting there thinking, there are two trains, right? So two trains, and I have to I have to get a connecting train to get to where I live, right? And there are two trains left for that day after my race, my competition. I'm still looking around for people who can possibly give me a ride. The time for the first train goes, so now it's the second one, and I'm still hanging around like calmly, like wondering what's gonna happen. Then I look at the time and I forget that it took me about 30 or 25 minutes to walk from the train station to the stadium, and I see that it's about 8 o'clock, and the last train would be around 8:45. So I'm like, hey man, stop playing around, man. You gotta move. So I go to go get some water from the tap, actually in the bathroom. So I'm filling up my bottle of water, and I see somebody talk for like a minute or whatever. I look at my watch. I see 8:10. I'm like, man, no games, man. It's like, let's get a move on. So I'm moving, man. I'm walking fast, but I knew I'll get to the train station on time. I get to the train station around, I don't know, 8:30, 8:32, 8:33. I haven't even bought a ticket yet. I get there, and I see that the train has been delayed 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then I start to think to myself, this train has been delayed 15 minutes. Would I be able to catch the connecting train that I have to catch, which is the last one that goes to where I live? The last one. And I'm thinking, Lord, that's a funny situation, God, because 15 minutes now puts that connecting catching that connecting train in jeopardy somewhat. But I'm calm, I'm sitting down there. I get on the train because the train has been delayed, blah, blah, blah. I have to even get a ticket that's supposed to be for a train at 5 a.m. or something, whatever. But I was like, look, if they ask me, I'm just gonna be like, look, your train was delayed. So I got the next train, but I'm on this train. Long story. Anyways, I used that last bit of money that I have on me to get a train while I'm on the train. And the train was late. They said 15 minutes late. It came like about 15 minutes late, but it took off like maybe 20 in total, about 20 something minutes after. And I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna catch this connecting train. I may not catch it because it's at 9:43, and we're leaving where we are around 9:06 or something, and it takes about 15 minutes to get to where I need to get the connecting train. And I'm like thinking, Lord, my God, all I'm asking is please don't let me have to stay overnight in this train station. I've actually done things like that before in my life, but these are other stories I'll tell in other videos. Many times I've done stuff like that. But I was like, God, today I really don't want to do this. I don't want to just get so tired, because the toll it takes on your body when you're traveling, and then you have to wait in like a train station or wherever for so many hours, and then you go, and then even to resume training, your body's odd because it takes so much out of you mentally, emotionally, and whatever. And I've done it before, so I know how it feels. And I'm like, God, I don't want to be stuck in some train station in some random place I don't even really know so well, and then have to wait till like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to get a train, which would have been like a waiting time of what, about 7 hours or more than that, 8 hours. I was like, God, please. So we're on the train. I start watching football because I'm like, man, I can't be stressing, man. I have to trust my God. So I start watching the game, Holland versus England. I'm watching the game, blah 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 blah. Listen to my music. I'm chilling. Around like 9:39, 9:40, I start paying attention to what cities were passing. You know, but you see, the funny thing is the train was not announcing when we were arriving, last as it should normally. So we're going. Around 9:49, which is already past the time for my connecting train, right? We get to a place called Turney, which is where I'm supposed to get my connecting train to where I live. And we get there, but I did not know. And guess what? I did not even recognize it, man. I passed by that place a lot, but I didn't even recognize it at all. And there was no announcement. So I'm looking out the window. I don't see any sign. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It looks, I don't know what this place is, but what I was hoping in my mind is because there was a delay with my train, there might be a delay with the last train to go to where I live, to get to where I live. That's what I was hoping. So we get to this place. I'm sitting on the train. I'm looking outside. Don't see any sign of the place. Don't recognize. It's all dark and everything. The train starts to move, and then I see the sign, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Where am I going now, man?" Because it's gone past where I'm supposed to get off. Probably the train had already even gone to where I live, but I was hoping, just hoping that God would make a way for me. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I even cussed. I was like, I used the F word. I was like, F, whatever. I sat down. I was like, okay, Lord, forgive me. I was like, you know what, Father, I trust you, and I know you always take care of me, really, because in my life, this is one thing I've known for certain. God has always been with me. And I remembered, I was just still. I remembered to just be still. I'm like, okay, Lord, Father, I know either way you're gonna help me, you're gonna take me home. But my prayer in my heart and my soul is that I do not want to be stuck overnight somewhere, and go through the hassle of all that. I just want to go home, rest, get back to training. That's it, the next day. And I just quietly told God my request in my heart, and I was still. And then I started to look for ways to just try to look where, because I looked at the next stops of the train that I was on, and I started checking from those stops to see if there would be like a train or a bus to where I live. But guess what? The train was passing a place called Roma Tiburtina, right? And normally when I'm in that place, Roma Tiburtina, I can usually get a bus from there to where I live. But the last bus is usually around like 9:30, as far as I knew, right? So I see this train is gonna pass by that place, and it's around 10:06 now, and I'm checking my phone, and I see that there's a bus from this place at 11:15, literally the last bus of the day. I never even knew there was a bus at that time of the night. Never even knew it. I look and I'm like, can this be for real? I look and I see that it is. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. And I'm just like, you know what? I realized that the thing that I was complaining about, missing my stop, my initial stop, God allowed me to miss it and did not allow me to recognize where I was to get off, because I would have gotten off, the train, that my connecting train would have already gone, and then I really would have been stuck there. So I didn't know what God was doing at the time, and I was perplexed, I was worried, you know. And then I thought to myself, do you see that God allowed me to almost be unaware of where I was so that I could actually get away to go home? Anyways, the story continues. So we're going on this train, and I see it's about an hour to get there. So I'm thinking I'll get there around 11. I'll just get out the train station real quick and go to the bus place because it's not far from the train stop. We get there around 10:45. 10:45. Now this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm getting off the train. The door of my cubicle where I'm in the train doesn't open, and I'm thinking this is weird. Maybe they haven't opened the doors yet, or it's an error. There's a guy behind me with the suitcase and another lady, and I'm like, he asked me what's going on. Is it open? I'm like, no. So we need to rush to go to another cubicle. So I open the door to go to the other cubicle, but this guy's with the suitcase, and I can see through the suitcase, so it's gonna be harder for him to like have the door open and then go through. And I want to rush, but I'm like, it's okay, man, you go ahead, because he has a suitcase, right? So it's gonna be more difficult for him. So I let him go through. I tell the lady she can go, but she's just standing. So okay, I just bust a move after the guy. He goes and I go. And then he gets off the train, immediately gets off the train, the door is shutting. And then he knows that I'm coming, so he literally has to push the door and hold it so that I can get off the train. Otherwise, I would have been shut in the train and have to go to another stop again, another place. By which point, probably certainly I would miss this last bus, because I would have to now find a way to get from that place back to the Roma Tiburtina to get this bus. It was crazy. So he opened the door for me. He held it open as it was closing, like pushing it, and I came out. And I was just like, man, seriously, the devil really wants to get me down today, man. It was amazing to me, because you know the things that the devil will try and use to break you or to cause you um, a lack of harmony, right? God will always use to show his care for you and his wondrous nature. And I got off the train, I'm like, man, man. Now, it's not even over, right? Remember, I have no money on me for anything, right? I can't buy a bus ticket to go to where I live, and it's about €5 or so. But guess what? I had a bus ticket to get to where I live from this very place that I'm taking the bus from about a week ago, that I had not used. And it was in my bag, just there in my bag, right? On an unused bus ticket, just one that I had not used. And so the driver comes with the bus, and this one ticket that I had not used. I had no money to buy a ticket and whatnot. I get on the bus and I can use that ticket, and the driver was very insistent that everyone had a ticket. Later he even wanted to kick some guy off the bus because the guy didn't have a ticket, and somebody had to come help him and give him a ticket. And I thought to myself, God, you really work in mysterious ways. God knew, of course, that I was going to end up there, and that ticket he had prepared for me from over a week ago to use from that very place, the only place that I could have used it from, right there, that Roma Tiburtina place, to get that bus to go to where I live. you know? And then it was just amazing to me, man. I got home around 12:30, I don't something like that, 12:30, 12:45. But I actually got home, man, against all the odds, man. I got home and I was so relieved, and I just thought about the whole story, and I was replaying the whole thing in my mind yesterday. I was like, nah, man, I have to talk about this. I have to give a testimony about this. This is too incredible. Nonetheless, many things like this have happened in my life. Many things. I cannot tell all these stories in one video. I have to make series of them. But God has always been with me in incredible situations. Like when I was going to China, that whole story might take an hour. When I was going to China, stories of my time while I was in China, or even in Cyprus, or any other place in my life, just different stories, man. God has always just been there for me and been like looking out for me, making a way for me where there seems to be none. It's like, and a lot of the time, it's like I've been in the wilderness or in the desert, right? And God just provides water for me at the right spots. drink here, opens up this door. So just so I can make it through, make it through, make it through, make it through, make it through. So man, with all the joy and with all the gratitude to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I make this video with thanksgiving. I don't know, whoever sees it, doesn't matter. Whoever sees it, I know for sure that God wants you to be blessed by the story of the testimony. And yeah, so it does matter in the sense who sees it, but I pray that whoever it is meant for, it is received. But man, it's a beautiful thing to walk with God, man. It's a beautiful thing. God will bring a stillness to your heart, even in situations that seem chaotic. And he just makes a way for you, man, where there seems to be none. How would I ever have predicted the route that I ended up going to get home with no money on me at the time, you know? And then, the following day, everything was fine. Another more of God's testimony. But that's for another time. Maybe a story for another time. Anyways, man, this video has been about 16 minutes long now. I think it's long enough. I hope that I've not forgotten any detail. Hand on heart. So help me God, I've tried to tell the story just as it happened, And Jesus bless. Have a wonderful weekend.